So good evening, everyone. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you for this evening's webinar on behalf of all the 6 chapters in ICF in India, for ICF in India. We have the ICF Bengaluru, ICF Chennai, ICF Delhi, ICF Hyderabad, ICF Pune, and ICF Mumbai. We are represented here by somebody or the other from each chapter. And we're really excited to bring you this webinar, which is talking about the value of being an ICF Global Member. We wanted to put together this primarily because this is an opportune time for us to understand that what are the benefits and the values that we have of being a global member. And with also getting a sort of a virtual tour of all the resources available to us as members. So without wasting much of time, I'm going to quickly call on Viji to introduce our speaker of the day, Mr. Haitham Shaheen. Go ahead, Viji.
Thank you, Priya, and you're absolutely right. It's a lovely opportunity. I think we rarely get together like this. The last time we did was when we had Catherine's webinar, and it was a fantastic experience. So I think there's a great opportunity, more than I think also apart from learning about what it means to be an ICF global member and what are the benefits, and to deep dive into that. I think it's a lovely way for us all to come together under one roof. I also want to, give out my prayers and strength to everybody who is going through a difficult time in whichever part of the country you're in. With that note, it's my pleasure to read out Haitham's bio, and I'm just going to read it out because it's a super exciting bio. Haitham Shaheen holds a BSc degree in aeronautical engineering. He has worked in the Royal Jordanian Air Force for 19 years before retiring as a colonel. After retirement, he worked in the private corporate sector in an aircraft and engine maintenance company in Amman, Jordan. During his 9 years tenure, he has held positions of Quality Assurance Director, Chief Commercial Officer, and Vice President for Commercial Affairs. In 2016, Haitham took a leap of faith and decided to change his career path when he learned about ICF and coaching. He completed an ACSDH course and became one of the members of ICF Jordan chapter and a founding member for the chapter as it was registered as legal NFP entity in 2017. He then applied for the ICF as a market development specialist in September of the same year. Since then, he has been working with chapter leaders, volunteers, and members as part of the EMEA regional development team as Senior Regional Development Manager for the Middle East, North Africa, and India. Haitham is married and has 2 boys. He is based in Amman, Jordan. That's the formal part of the bio. Must also tell you, in the last couple of months, we have been working together with Haitham. It's just been, Haitham's a person who is always ready to help, always finds a way out, and one of the people with the fastest speed of response I have seen. It's been a pleasure to work with you, Haitham, and I think I can say this on behalf of all ICF India chapters. And we are indeed excited to know about, whatever you wanted to tell us about ICF Global Membership and the brand. Thank you, Haitham.
Thank you so much for that, Viji. Haitham, before you get started, I just have a few administrative tips here. Can I request everyone to stay on mute? We will have a section towards the, once Haitham's piece is over, where we will have Q&A. And until such time, keep our mics and our videos on off mode or on mute mode so that we don't have any disruptions. With that, Haitham, I welcome you to start your presentation.
Thank you so much, Priya, and thanks, Viji, and to all the chapter presidents of the 6 chapters in India, Mumbai, Delhi, Bengaluru, Pune, Chennai, and the recent chapter, Hyderabad. Before I start my talk with you all, I would just like to take a moment of silence, actually, and to share with you all, ICF's Global Professional Coaches Board, our sincere sorrow, apologies, heartfelt prayers to the situation that is being faced across India. we send our voice in a message of solidarity to all of you, hoping and praying to God that you would prevail over this situation as soon as possible. And may Almighty God protect you all, your loved ones, your family members in this challenging time. We wish you all the best and we pray for you. Our hearts go to you all, your family members, your loved ones, your neighbors, and your extended family. With that, hoping that these prayers will be answered and India will prevail, become stronger than it was before, I would like to thank all the chapter leaders for allowing me the opportunity to see as many members of the ICF chapters in India in this evening. And I'm thinking of having this talk or this discussion in two ways. One, I'm going to share with you my screen in a while, where I will share with you a 4-slide deck presentation just to stimulate your appetite for what we will see actually the resources on the ICF website. So I'm going to share my screen right now. If I can have hosting rights, please, by the organizer. I will share my screen with you all so that we will go through these 4 slides, which will give you an idea what I am going to show you on the actual ICF website. So
I have given you access, Haitham.
thank you, Priya, so much. And allow me to share my screen, which I believe you all see right now.
Yes, go ahead.
Great. So this is, I'm going to start it in the power presentation mode. And once we're talking about membership, the first thing that comes to mind is the membership fee of $245. And this membership fee has been decided by the global ICF board, I think 4 or 5 years back, and has not been changed ever since. This value, this membership fee is actually depicts the many values, the many benefits that ICF gives its members, regardless of whether you are in the Asia Pacific region, Europe, Middle East and Africa region, or the NALAC region. And what we're trying to do over here is to go through some of the tangible and non-tangible benefits of the ICF membership, which constitute those $245. And what I'm going to share with you is a simple note I hope that you could see on the bottom of the screen, which is according to the Global Consumer Study 2021, the average fee for an 1 hour of coaching session is almost half of this amount in all 3 ICF regions. That's according to a study which was done last year. Having that in mind, let's have a look at what these values mean. And when I'm talking to you, I would like you all to think about the first time you decided to enroll in an ICF accredited program. What were you feeling then? How were you as a coach then? And how are you feeling now? And who are you as a coach now? Because coaching is a journey. It starts with trying to explore something new, something unexplored. You invest time, you invest money, and then you're outside in the market. And that's where your actual journey starts with the ICF. And in that journey, you would experience an exchange of the $245, which are the annual membership fee, some tangible and intangible values. And as you all know, intangible values are benefits or values that you cannot put a dollar sign onto it. And these 6 bullet points, which you can see in front of you on the screen, are by large the most common intangible values that our members, our leaders come back to us in the surveys that we make, saying that they have gained the most from. For example, let's take a look at the first one, network and connection. There is no one that can really put a dollar value on how much this important benefit is. You can meet with peers from the same city, from the same region, and from the same global region. And I will show you later on which chances, what are the chances, where can you meet such people? Let's take example this platform. We have coaches from the 6 chapters in India, 6 different cities, which are miles and miles apart, that are getting to meet each other and talk to each other. So that's the network and connection. Then there is an opportunity for each and every member, depending how much she or he has invested in themselves, to become as part of the global board member or a member of the independent nomination committee for any election of any of the boards of the 6 family organizations that the ICF has right now. And we'll talk more about the roles of the family organizations and what each family organization has in terms of its own bylaws and its own board members. Then you have also the opportunity to represent the chapter in local, regional, or global forums. I have been really blessed and fortunate to work with VG, with Priya, with MG, with Prasad, with Badri, with Shanti, with Jayshri. All these fabulous leaders are interacting and meeting with different leaders from different parts of the world, be it in the Global Leaders Forum, ICF Advance, ICF Converge, and so on and so forth. Also, an intangible value is the membership badge, the membership digital badge, and the credentialing digital badge which ICF has released in the past 1.5 years. You have also access to global coaching research and studies, executive summaries, and we will see how and where you can access that from the ICF website. There are also ICF awards in the form of Young Leader and Circle of Distinction awards, which ICF announces for every year. All what you have to do is just keep an eye on your inbox and wait for those invitations and announcements to come your way. Now, looking at some tangible value, and these are benefits, services that ICF gives to its members, but it comes with the price tag. And for example, you have reduced application fees for credentialing and credential renewals. You have reduced registration fees for conferences and events, as I have mentioned, such as Advance and Converge. You have free access to communities of practice to all members. Free access means zero. All you need to do is just when the announcement for the communities of practice is announced, you just sign up if you're interested in any of the 10 communities of practice which ICF offers to its members. Then there are free registration on the Credential Coach Finder for credential coaches, reduced fee of up to $50 for listing in a mentor coach registry if you want to be a mentor coach, and there's also peer-to-peer coaching registry. I know that most of the chapters in India conduct some sort of a peer-to-peer coaching as part of their chapter services. That is on the local and regional level. Well, how about if you want to go ahead and experience peer-to-peer coaching on the global level, where you would meet peers from Eastern Europe, Central Europe, Middle East, Africa, Caribbean, North America, Latin America, or Asia Pacific. That is also a tangible value that we would see for our members. And that's all. That's what I wanted to share with you regarding this presentation. Please keep in mind tangible values and intangible values. And in my next session, I will share with you, I will show you actually from the ICF website, how can you reach those resources and how you can play around with the ICF website to explore many of the hidden gems that the ICF has for its members. But for some reason, probably it's our fault as ICF staff, we do not promote this as often as we're supposed to. Part of it, probably you receive so many communications from ICF that you don't have the capacity sometimes to really read all those communications. So may I ask if there is anyone from the audience who has a question for me at this stage about the two slide decks that I have shown? If not, then I will share my screen to share with you how you can dig into these resources from the ICF website.
I'm not seeing any questions as of now,
Okay,
Haitham.
great.
So if you wish, we can continue. And if there's anybody needs anything, they can put it in the chat box and I will highlight it to you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, so can you all see my screen? I hope so.
Yes, we can, Haitham.
Thank you, Priya. Now, I was just telling to the chapter leaders earlier this morning when I stepped into my office, the first thing I do, I prepare for my presentations. And ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Guess what? My ICF account was deactivated. So I went into a panic mode for the past 5 or 6 hours trying to get this thing fixed. And thanks to our IT department, you could see right now, I am in incognito mode because until they fix my actual account, this is what we will be looking at. But this is the homepage of the ICF, of the International Coaching Federation. And one of the things that I want to share with you is I'm going to log out right now, and I'm going to impersonate any one of you from the homepage of the ICF, right? What you would do. First of all, you need to sign in with your username and password. Now I'm going to use my username and password like as you would do to log into the ICF. So that's my name. Okay. And I'm not going to tell you what my password is, but here it is. And by logging into the website right now, you are going into the second layer of the ICF website, just so that you would know. The ICF website is structured with so many modules, and each module is being managed by a different technical team. So actually, if you consider this some sort of an artichoke or an onion, so every time you peel a layer, you would find something behind that. So behind the home page, if you log in, you would be able to get to this resource. And what you would find over here is two interesting things. One is a member toolkit, and the second is ICF Learning Portal. And if you are a chapter leader elected in one of the 6 chapters, you could go to the chapter leader resource library. Now, let me start by the simplest things first. Let's go to the ICF Learning Portal, which you as a member have access to. And by clicking on this portal, you would come to this landing page of the Learning Portal of the ICF. And once you view this portal, it would transfer you, will take you to so many elements over here. Now, if you are tagged as a chapter board member or as a leader, you would see certain things that other members cannot. And this is by default once we tag those chapter leaders upon their election. But as a member, you would be able to access ICF Advance, the ICF Communities of Practice, which are free of charge. All you have to do to access these is again log in with your username and password. And then you can go to the next layer or the next page of information. Let me choose Communities of Practice. You could see that there are 10 communities of practice over here listed on the screen. Each community of practice is being managed by subject matter experts, which are volunteers like yourselves like your chapter leaders, who would respond to the call for proposal to become one of the group of the subject matter experts. Let me choose the coaching supervision communities of practice. Now, these are held on regular basis. For each community of practice, they have their own timings, they have their own structure, and they have their own schedule for meeting with the members. And if you see over here, you could find the live webinar schedule, and you could see the timings, and all the information that you need is listed over here. So all you have to do as a member is join one of those communities of practice, and you will get notifications about the frequency, the time, the date, and you could be part of these communities of practice. I have chosen the coaching supervision. There are 10 other communities of practice that are available for our members to benefit from and to join whenever they get a notification through the member update newsletter, which every member gets to their inbox. There is also, now the communities of practice are free of charge for any member. The ICF Advance actually is a paid conference or a paid database, knowledge and information, and I'm going to choose the ICF Advance 2020. These were all the recordings, information, resources that were done for the ICF Advance 2020. Now we're going to have the Converge 2021 this year. Again, visit the ICF website. As a member, you will get a reduced price to join the ICF Converge, which will take place on October this year. So 1 year we have Advance, the second year we have Converge. This is how these events are scheduled. Had it not been COVID, then Converge and Advance would have been an on-site event. Unfortunately, during COVID, we have moved all these to the virtual space. So we've talked about communities of practice, ICF Advance. There is also the ICF Business Development Series, which are BDS. These are also offered to our members at a reduced price. What these business development series are, you could find over here. They are a virtual series designed specifically to help you build, sustain, and expand a successful coaching process. You know that one of the first things that coaches need to do is to work on their professional development. Business development series are there for you as a member so that you could do the best of your coaching practice to showcase yourself and to brand yourself in a way that will attract clients, coaches, and business for you. And the business development series, you could see each and every one of them that there is a price for members and a price for non-members. Non-members, for example, pay $225 for this. For members, you would pay only $100. For non-members, for this pack, it's $550. For members, it's $300. So there is a considerable amount of discounts for our members for the business development series. So all of these, you can get them by logging into your learning portal. I'm going to go out of the learning portal, right? Back to where I was earlier and go to other resources. So all these Advance, Converge, Business Development Series, and Community of Practice, you could access them by the learning portal. What else? We will go to the member toolkit right now and explore additional resources that members can get by virtue of just paying the $245. Now, one of the things, all resources are highlighted in blue, as you can see. Sometimes I'm being asked by members, I am going to present something for an organization that they are going to use my services as a coach. Do you have any latest information about, about the ICF, how many members? And I always tell them, you check the fact sheet. If you click on the fact sheet, you would find all resources that you need to make an acceptable and actually an attractive slide deck to your clients, where you could tell them about the ICF, who we are, our growth, and then you could show them some statistics about how our members are distributed over the world. I'm going to increase this a little bit. And then you could see breakdown of ICF members by region. So this is a statistical data that you could use in your coaching business to convince clients, coaches, organization, what coaching is all about. And you could find, aside from this, then you would go to the second part of the fact sheet, where you could have the breakdown of credentialed coaches by country or territory. How many do we have in India? ACC 606, PCC 388, MCC 48. Total number of members 1,042. Well, what about, let's say, take another one, Czech Republic. You could get the resources from there. And the nice thing about this fact sheet, it gets updated every month. So if you go to the member toolkit, you would find, you found the April fact sheet. You could find also, let me log out and go back to the home page. You could find the May fact sheet, and then so on and so forth. Okay, let me go back to the ICF main page. Nope. Here we go. So again, we're talking about the member toolkit. Why it's not responding? Sorry for this glitch, but this is what happens when technology fails you sometimes. Okay, now, again, before signing in, let me also share with you some of the resources that you would find over here. Now, you could find, I'm always being asked, what can I tell my clients? So if you look at Find a Coach, you would find three things. You could look at the Credential Coach Finder, where you as a credential coach can register for a nominal fee. If you have a credential, you can go to the Credential Coach Finder, agree to this statement, and if you agree, right, then it opens you to a page where you could build your profile. So if you have a Credential Coach Finder on the ICF website, and if you have a LinkedIn profile, you could boost your brand as a credentialed coach, which would be good for your business, which would be good for your image. Aside from the Credential Coach Finder, you could find some hiring tips. A lot of members ask me, what should I tell people to hire me? Or people who want to get working with a coach, what should they be looking for? And these hiring tips and what to ask for are also very important things that coaches and coaching recipients would find very useful. You could find these from the website, actually. Now, again, we talked about the member toolkit. Let me go back to the member toolkit, and we've seen the April fact sheet. There's going to be the May fact sheet, the June fact sheet, so you could have updated statistics. Now, this is a small slide this is actually a video recording, which I shared with the chapter leaders, hoping that you would have heard this. It's a video recording. If you click on it, actually, it will take you to our video library where you could listen to my colleague, Anik Clemens, who talks about membership benefits for 20 minutes. She's covering this via this video. I encourage you all to listen to this video, watch it, and probably pick one item or two when you have time and dig deep on the ICF website to know more about this. Then we have the ICF Professional Coaching Strategic Plan, so that you as a coach, once you are presenting yourself, you support yourself with something that is coming from the board to convince your clients, to promote your business, that this is not only you saying this, this is a global initiative. Then we have the ICF core competencies. Then we have a coaching 101 slide deck. Sometimes you need to present for an organization or for a group of people to sell your services as a coach. Download this slide deck, customize it as you feel like to promote yourself and the services you are selling. That is also another resource for you. Then there is also a slide deck, value of credentials. If you are competing with another so-called coach that is not an ICF member, you could download this slide deck and convince the client, what does it mean to be an ICF member? What does it mean to be a credentialed coach if you are one, as compared to others in the market who call themselves coaches without going through the rigorous program of 60 hours, 120 hours, 300 hours, without going through this coach knowledge assessment, without abiding by the core competencies of the coaching profession, without committing to the code of ethics and so on and so forth. So there is also some resources for you to sell yourself, to sell your services to organizations, to individuals, to communities. There are also other resources that if you're stuck as a coach, when and how to refer a client to therapy, there is an article for you. There is something if you want to launch a chapter, but that is something for chapters. Now, you know as a coach that you have to comply with the General Data Protection Regulation. So we have enough resources over here to tell you and to educate you about GDPR. What's in it for you? How can you be GDPR compliant, especially if you're working with organizations that are going to share some personal information detail regarding their employees. And you could find marketing flyers over here, logos, you could see the brand manual, you could even download coaching agreements. If you don't have one, tweak it, customize it so that it becomes more you, if you want to reflect your own brand and your own identity. So again, there are resources for ethics and compliance. I'm going to just randomly pick this so that it will always educate you on, for example, if you're having an issue with a client or an issue with an accredited ICF program, how to handle it, whom to communicate this with in ICF. Is there a direct assist line for ICF on ethics? Yes, it is here. There is the email, there is the number. And ethics on CCE courses, ethics communities of practice, which we have seen. Ethics water cooler conversation is also another volunteering opportunity where we invite members to participate in. So in reality, there are so many things that you could find to your taste and appeal just by going through the member toolkit. So remember, log in with your credential, username and password. ICF Learning Portal, you look at Advance, you look at Converge, you look at Communities of Practice, and you look at Business Development Series. What about the member toolkit? I can have updated information, statistics, graphs, the member guide, the new member guide. There is also a brief video about the membership benefits, a client testimony release form. If you want to have a testimony from one of your clients, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have a form that you could download and probably customize. All these are templates. They are not forgiven. We just made the structure. We just made the format. You can download it and then customize it with a personal picture of yours, with your LinkedIn profile, with your Twitter account, with your Facebook account. So all the resources are there. We just need you to just click, download, and then be creative in how you want to use these as they speak of you as a professional coach of ICF or a credential holder. As I have said, there are so many information over here that you could look at. Now, one more thing I would like to highlight is the peer coaching. One of the things that I, for example, have struggled when I completed my ACSTH is to log in the hours that I could get the 100 hours that would allow me to submit my ACC application. I got few hours from my friends, my relatives on pro bono coaching, but then I wanted something more global, more sophisticated, more advanced. So if you look at the reciprocal peer coaching, and this is a simple description of how the program works and what benefits you get. You create your own professional profile that other coaches can view. You can view other coaches' profiles and read feedback left by coaches who have been coached by them. It's similar to the regional peer-to-peer coaching, which you have in your chapters in India, but this is more global. This is more, I would say, international. This is more cosmopolitan. So this is a very useful tool. A lot of our members use to launch their coaching career and get the needed 100 hours to get their ACC credential. Then there is also the mentor coach registry. All the information you need to be listed in the mentor coach registry is in front of you. Again, for a nominal fee of $50, you could list, you could create your own profile, you could list your name, and you could be visible to the entire membership at large of the ICF, those who want to work with a mentor. And I have mentioned there is, there are other things that you as a member can benefit from. For example, let's take a look at credentialing and standards. Now, I receive a lot of queries about credentialing, my application. I have this many hours, can I use this many hours? So here's a tip for you. If you are a member and you log in with your username and password, go to credentials and standards. If you have any query about your credentialing application, your ACC, PCC, MCC application, and you cannot really get an answer, look at this blue bar over here and click on it. It will pop up and it will have a help and support form where you could write your email address, the subject, brief description of the problem that you're having, your full name, then click on the CAPTCHA to indicate that you're not a robot and submit it. You will get a feedback from one of our support staff at the credentials and standards as soon as possible. So this is a very good tip for you to use. It's there, but probably most of you have not really been focused to pay attention on that little bar on the right-hand side of the screen. It's called the Help and Support Credentials and Standards. There is also a very interesting that I would like to share with you. Can you see this balloon over here on the lower right-hand side? This is an immediate chat, a live chat with one of our credentials and staff team. So if you have a query about, are my hours enough to apply for a PCC on the portfolio path, or other path. All you have to do is just click on it and it opens an inbox. And it tells you, for example, over here, currently replying under a minute. That means that the support staff are not having that much load. If you have any query, just type in whatever you want to do over here. Hi, okay? And someone will respond to you. There you go. It says, hello there, I'm Felicia. Before we go ahead, can I get your email address? In case we get lost, I can always get back to you. So you could use this live chat feature to get in touch with any of our credentialing and standards team so that they would answer your queries live on chat. And if it gets really complicated, they might tell you, write me an email to this and this email address, and we'll respond to you. So these two simple tips are there for our members in case they have queries, they have ambiguities, they need clarifications about an application form, about a credentialing process, anything of that sort. Use either the help box, the form, or you could use the live chat, which is over here. Now, I'm going to leave that page and I'm going to emphasize on one of the intangible benefits of being an ICF member. And that is the membership digital badge and the credentialing digital badge. You could see over here how to manage your digital badge once you get it and how to use it for social media. One of the things that I know we have always been hearing from chapter leaders and volunteers and members, how do I distinguish myself as an ICF coach from those who call themselves coaches in the market? One of the things that we have created for our members that they get free of charge the moment they become members is the digital badge. If you have a LinkedIn profile, if you put your digital badge there, it will make you stand out from the rest of the crowd of those who state that they are coaches, whereby they are not by our standards. You could use the logo, you could use the digital badge, you could use any of the resources that you have over here, which I have gone swiftly, actually quickly for you. There are so many other benefits that you could find by visiting the member toolkit over here, the learning portal, and the other resources which we have for the peer coaching, mentor coach registry, and we have a special dedicated resource over here for our chapter leaders. Those dedicated volunteers who have been elected by the membership at large to represent them in everything that they want and everything they see. So one last thing I would like to mention is one of the benefits of being an ICF member is that you will be able to get reduced prices and discounts from any of our partners, which are listed over here, being Assessments 24/7, Audio Acrobat, you have the Coaching Tools Company, Genos, Hogan Assessments for psychometric analysis, you have Zoom, so on and so forth. So I hope that in the past 20-25 minutes, I have been able to go through the ICF website and show you the different layers that the ICF website is constructed from, so that you are able to make the benefit of everything that ICF has in store for you. Of course, one more thing I would like to share with you is that if you need to have more information about the ICF, the coaching, the 6 family organizations, you could use these page over here and you could read about the ICF communities of practice. If you want to become part of a global committee, a task force, or a core team that is working on, for example, the review of the core competency, the review of the ICF values, there are always links and resources that would allow normal members to volunteer for a greater level of partnership with other peers from different parts of the world to work on a project that belongs to the ICF, but is designed for the well-being of all the members of ICF. I think we are over 41,000 members right now. So in a nutshell, log in with your username and password, go to find a coach to learn about these tips. Then furthermore, if you go to the ICF learning portal, the member toolkit, the peer coaching, the mentor coach registry, and our partners, every one of them is a member added value in exchange of the membership fee that you pay annually for the ICF. And with that, I would like to stop sharing my screen and answer any of the questions that you have. Please challenge me with your ideas, with your questions, because anything that we are missing or we can do better, that will help us to give more value to our members, not only in India, but elsewhere in the world. Thank you all so much.
Thank you for that, Haitham. I'd like to request anyone who are asking questions, a lot of them have been answered by us in the chat box, but anybody who has a pressing question, to please raise your hand, and accordingly, we can ask you to unmute yourself.
Priya, there are also one or two which have come up in the chat box. Can I just offer that to Haitham? And I would invite all the chapter presidents to also join if you'd like to answer some of those.
Sure, go ahead, Vijay, please.
Sure.
There are a couple of hands up. Should we first?
Sure, we can do that as well.
Yeah. So let's just go with, I think Vasu's hand came up first. Vasu, go ahead. Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, sorry, I can't be on video. I hope you don't mind, Haitham. Haitham, there are a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your notice. Of late, this has happened in the last 5 years. There are a lot of people, obviously the current state, people who have lost their job, quit forcefully, whatever reason. There are a lot of senior people who have been in the market now, who call themselves as trainers / coaches / consultants. And these people are, of course, this is an India perspective. I don't know what happens around the world, but they're doing a lot of disservice to ICF credentials, credentialed coaches. And what happens is, if you are a credentialed coach and you go, obviously, the investment calls for a higher price, and the whole dynamics of the price game. Unfortunately, the clients do not understand coaching, solution consulting. There are so many things, and what happens is, the coach, unfortunately, an ICF credentialed coach carries a whole lot of burden on educating what coaching is, what ICF is, what is important, what you should do, what you should not do. I mean, so much of work that somebody has to do just to get that visibility in front of client. For a very long time, I have been noticing that ICF is not doing enough in geographies like the developing countries like ours. So maybe, I don't know what the model is in America is, how are the best practices there. So I guess there is something that ICF needs to do. Otherwise, we members, so frankly, I don't see a value in renewing my membership, to be very frank with you, right? There are a couple of reasons for that. There is a currency difference. So there is a credentialing cost, $300 and odd, then 200 and odd, once in 3 years, $300 and odd, which comes to $100 a year, plus 250, like $350 a year. Plus you need to keep yourself abreast. You have to take many other programs. So if you look at what we can get out of the coaching, I'm not sure if this is applicable to established coaches. Fortunate they were who started early. But in this time when we are seeing as coaches who are coming up, I see this as a very big burden. So a couple of requests I have. One is look at a pricing model for developing countries, right? That is one request. And the second request is, I'm sure you have a lot of experience, a lot of artifacts that you have in your kitty. Please educate the corporate world. When our target market is SME now, not even corporate. So it becomes a huge barrier for a credentialed coach, and kind of very difficult.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Whatever challenges you have mentioned, they are not only in India, they are replicated in other regions. Probably I have not mentioned, I am working with 12 chapters in Middle East and North Africa. I am also supporting the chapters in India, and my colleagues support chapters in Central Europe and Eastern Europe. What you're saying, what you're observing in India is actually being observed all across the world. Yes, you are right. ICF needs to do more about raising awareness about coaching, and not only any coaching. The golden standard of coaching, which is the professional coaching that we all aspire to be. That is absolutely true. And that is why in the past year, during the COVID, we have worked in collaboration with the 6 chapters in India to launch a pilot project to spread more. We know for a fact that all the 6 chapters in India, and I'm talking India specific, are doing their best to promote coaching, increase awareness about coaching. But we need to do more along with them. We need to hold hands together. So what we did, we tried to do a pilot project where we contracted with a known HR entity that publishes articles online. And thanks to the leaders and members of all 6 chapters, we have been able to generate 24 articles that talk about coaching in organizations, coaching for leadership, coaching for executives. And the reads and the shares for these articles was phenomenal. So this was one pilot project. My answer is, yes, you are right. I hear what you're saying. And what we are doing through increasing the membership benefits and awareness and distinguishing ICF members from non-ICF members or ICF coaches from so-called coaches is part of why we have chapters, is why ICF exists every day. To claim that we have reached that satisfactory level of raising awareness is a myth. We have not. We all, even the ICF Global, we as staff, we always feel we need to do more. But the only thing that we can do is reach out to as many people as possible by showcasing the good example of credentialed coaches ICF represent, being ethical, being committed, being clear, being very much conscious about who they are and how they stand out from the rest of the crowd. I also heard you saying about prorating the global membership fee to countries. I must raise my hat for you for raising this question, but also your advocates, your chapter leaders, your chapter presidents have raised this concern to me, and I shared it also with ICF Global. For the time being, in all transparency and clarity, there is nothing that is going to happen next year or probably the year after. But the global board or the professional coaches board have heard these arguments, not only for India. There are other affected countries like in the Middle East, in Lebanon, who has suffered from deep fall in economy due to the, there was a political upheaval, there was the bombing of Beirut harbor. So there are other affected countries. Look at Brazil, look at Venezuela. So this is not only for India. However, I'm being totally honest and frank, and I would say honest. nothing is going to happen next year. But the Professional Coaches Board have heard this from one more than part of the world. They will do something. When, what form, I don't know. But they listen to the message. I don't know how they are going to react about it.
Thank you for saying
Thank
this.
you,
Haitham,
Vasu. I'd like the others also to have a chance
just
to answer,
just a
please.
second. I'm not going to take much time. Haitham, this was like showers of drizzle in the desert, right? Far too less. So I think the pressure, and thank you for supporting. I'm sure you are aware of this and you are representing our case. But I think this needs to be done at a war footing because this is more than a decade old. Ever since I have been a coach myself, I have been hearing this, that the board is taking cognizant, they're going to do something about it. 10 years is too long in this world to do something.
I think one of the challenges that the board is looking at, how can I give the same array of benefits or services to members who pay the full 245 and give the others who pay less the same amount of services or benefits? That's the dilemma. Because it's a global organization, our services are global to each and every member, whether you are Far East, Midwest, and the Antarctica or wherever. So the question is, if I'm going to prorate this $245, which membership benefits do I need to chop off so that they become equitable to 175, for example? Because it's not fair if a member in Jordan pays 245 for this array of services and another member in Venezuela who takes the same services but for 1/3 of the membership amount or 1/2. So that's the dilemma. It's not they don't want to do anything about it. It's how. It's not the why. We know why they want to do it. It's how are they going to do it in a manner that is fair and that is equitable. If you pay $245 for 10 services or 10 benefits, do you see it feasible? Do you see it logical if someone gets the same number of services, which is 10, $400? It's not fair. It's not equitable. It's not equality. So that's the challenge. How do we define the membership in terms of what do you get in exchange? And probably if we narrow it down to modules, you might not like what you get for 110, and others would say, I'd rather pay 245 and get everything that I can choose from than you limiting me with only 3 benefits for 110 or $120. This is my thinking. I'm not saying that's what they are saying, but for a global organization, this is how we need to think. We need to think across the board, equity, quality, and equality. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Haitham. With that, Nidhi, would you like to unmute yourself? And
so my one question is already answered by Rashmi. Thank you, and Vijay Lakshmi as well. Second question was around directly is in terms of ICF, we have 3 levels, right? ACC, PCC, MCC. Now I see there is like, as per the research that, in terms of the requirement that is to be met in terms of coaches, we are only 1/4 of the population. So there is like a large need, but the supply is really less. Also, I feel that ICF gives a lot of credibility. However, I don't understand for every level we are paying at least $2,500 to $5,000. Like organizations are charging anything. And I feel that's my suggestion and a question to you. Can't we simplify the structure of the process? Because anyways, we have competencies. Why can't we make those competencies stringent at 1 or 2 level only instead of doing 3, 4 levels of ACC, PCC, MCC? Why can't we have just 1 or 2 levels? Like we're charging so much from the people. And yet I can say there are a lot of PCC people I can know who does not follow ethics or the coaching norms. Because I'm just raising a very honest question here, because even when we are submitting recording to ICF, internally how it works. Like one recording may be good, but that does not demonstrate the person has actually shown those qualities. And I've seen people who are not accredited with ICF, they are also doing a good job, right? So I want more and more people to be associated with ICF because I really respect this brand. But how can we make it more economical for people and more structured so that, every time people don't have to face so many levels and wait? And also there's a corporate barrier that, there are so many ACCs floating that, ACCs have kind of lost the value. And again, this is my experience and experience of others. There are PCCs and MCs, and even after MCCs, you have to compete because of your experience level and other factors. Whereas what we say in the coach is that, you don't need to be an expert in that area. What you need is the powerful questioning. But we can't position ourselves for powerful questioning unless we get that kind of a chance. So again, the second question is, how can ICF bridge that gap between these people who are still at ACC or PCC level with the corporates, unless they have really good contacts?
Oh, wow. This is very interesting. And when you look at the ICF, once they specify, let's take, for example, the new PCC markers.
Yeah.
Once we specify the markers, once we specify the core competencies which have been revised last year, we don't do this on our own. We call for a proposal for a multitude of volunteers from all over the world. The new core competencies, for example, were reviewed by a talent pool of ACC, PCC, MCC, credential coaches that were, I think, 1,300 in numbers. So whatever the ICF decides in terms of strategy regarding the credentialing, what is the ACC looking like, or the PCC or the MCC, it's actually done by the members and the volunteers themselves. It's not done by the PC board. What the PC board is, they say, we have a problem. We send it out to the volunteers so that we would create some sort of a task force or a group of people who would address this, because these are the people on the ground who knows the actual challenges. They provide recommendations, the board meets with them, and they would say, yes, we can do this. So to answer your question, if this is to be done, it has to be done by some sort of a global consensus from the chapters saying that this is what our members want. And then once you create that momentum of people who are speaking the same language, then we could formulate some sort of a case, put it to the regional coordination team or the global coordination team, or then to the professional coaches board, or through us as staff, and say, can we do this? Can we have this done? But we cannot, we as the staff or the organization don't do this. We send this out to volunteers and subject matter experts, credential coaches who have been long enough in the field, and they would provide us with their suggestions, like they did for the new core competencies and the new code of ethics. It was not decided and revised by ICF, the entity. It was done by the members. And we always send out call for proposals or call for volunteering for people to participate with us in revising the CKA, revising the content of communities of practice, revising the core competencies, so on and so forth. So I hear what you say, but it's not the ICF organization that does this, it's the volunteers. And how can we make that change? By having people saying, we want to do this, and it gets relayed through the proper channels, like through the chapters, and then chapters put it to the forum puts it to the regional team puts it to the global team, and that's how we get things done satisfactorily across the board. Because one thing, please keep in mind, we are a global organizations. Our decisions have to apply for all 3 ICF regions, whether it's North America, Latin America, the Caribbean, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, or Asia Pacific. We cannot have one thing that applies for a region that does not apply for the rest.
Thank you for answering that question for sure. And I understand that we have to have a consistency globally. Now, if I have to send a proposal, assuming that you also acknowledge some of the points that I mentioned, who do I reach out to with the proposal? Like, assuming I'm willing to take support and get some analysis done on my level, and then we can look into some other coaches as well.
Whatever the issue that you have, it's in your community. I would suggest that you reach out to your chapter and have an open discussion with them saying, this is what we're feeling. And then we will try to see if other chapters are being faced with the same challenge, with the same idea. And then if that happens to be the case, then once I will meet with the forum leaders, I could go back to my directors and say, this is happening in India. Can you please check if something similar is happening in Eastern Europe, in Western Europe, in Middle East or Africa, or the Caribbean? And then if we see that this is becoming a trend or this is becoming a phenomena, then we put it to the agenda for the professional coaches board or the global board. I don't know who would actually address this. And then there will be a call for a proposal to have people look into the matter and provide suggestions.
Sure.
And that's why that's how we operate. From the member level to the chapter, from the chapter to the forum, from the forum to the region, from the region to other regions, from all the regions to global.
Thank you so much.
Nidhi, if I might just add on one little thing, I did mention, I did hear you make a mention of ethical violation. Now that is something which is concerning. And I would urge you, and I think all of us have that right, if there is any sort of ethical issue or malpractice or anything, you must reach out to the ICF ethics system that's available, and you must flag these off. So happy to chat with you offline on that. But I think all of us collectively and individually are responsible for ethical practice being ICF coaches.
Absolutely agree. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We move on to Sunanda.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you so much for the session today, Haitham. It's been pretty, informative. My question actually links back to what Vasu asked earlier. Actually, it's not a question, it's a comment. I think that, the value of ICF is maybe appreciated by people who are already a part of ICF or are, going through the coaching process. But outside of this community, the visibility of ICF is very, very low. It's not my job to educate the world about ICF, in all honesty. I'm just trying to grab business, right? And if I'm spending that time trying to tell people why ICF is important and why ICF, credentials are at value, then a lot of my time is actually going away in that. Because if the people outside of the community cannot distinguish between what an ICF, credential coach is bringing and versus any other coach, who are equally experienced and maybe doing a fabulous job. But what is that extra bit that ICF is bringing? Because once you have reached a certain level, and especially as in the corporate world as an executive coach, and you have the coaching, abilities, then you don't need to be credentialed. Actually, you can just on word of mouth and through your network. And if you're delivering results, get the business. But if I have gone through the same process, have the same years of experience, have gone through the ICF credentials, done a proper training course, then what is that edge that I carry? And why is it that it's not being perceived or seen by the outside world?
You're right. You're right. One of the things that ICF has done, and this is just the starting point, is that we have 6 family organizations in the ICF right now. Are you aware of this?
No, not really.
Okay. So the ICF used to be ICF Global. Now we have 6 family organizations. One of the family organization has their own board. They have their own bylaws, and their focus is coaching in organizations. Their mission is to increase the visibility of ICF in coaches for coaching in organization by having members of those organizations become members of ICF. Now, this family organization is recent, is only 1 year old. They have just been formed. They have just had their bylaws. They have just had their board. So what we are trying to do, instead of having one ICF Global, we're having the Thought Leadership Institute. This is another family organization whose mission is to spread awareness through thought leadership articles, research, papers, announcements, white papers in universities, academia, media, whatever. This creation of those two family organizations from the original Professional Coaches Family Organization, credentialing and standards, and training organizations is for the purpose of advocating and spreading the word of ICF on your behalf. We don't want members to be preoccupied all the time with them promoting ICF. There's a role that ICF is going to do, and that's through the 6 family organizations that have been created January last year. And what is interesting is that it makes all the sense what you're saying. It's absolutely correct. And it's once we have listened, because of your remarks and other remarks in such platforms, and we convey this to our managers and our senior managers, that is when they start thinking, what more can we do? And we're hoping that with the creation of the 6 family organizations, we will be able to penetrate more markets. We will be able to have more visibility on what ICF is and what ICF represents and who are our members. How do they stand different from the rest of those who come from different coaching bodies? So the journey is still going on. That's what I'm saying. You have a point, 41,000 members, there's a lot to serve for that community. What we try to do always is to listen to the most common need. And what we've been hearing is, how do we stand out from the rest of the people who call themselves coaches? That's why we came up with the membership digital badge and the digital badge, so that people who say this will say, oh, he's an ICF. People who are not ICF members don't have this showcasing in their profiles, LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever. So we're getting there. We don't say that we have reached the best that we can deliver, but I think we have done our best listening to what we have been hearing from our members worldwide.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just wanted to kind of flag that off. And as Vijay Lakshmi said, that there is a lot more awareness now, but I think, you know, especially when you are coaching individuals and not organizations, then it's a greater challenge to convince them as to why, you know, what ICF really means, because we are not just coaching in organizations, we are also coaching individuals. And I appreciate that this is a challenge in front of ICF, but and it's good to know that there's work happening on that front. Thank you so much.
Sunanda, the chapters are also doing their bit, and I can certainly talk for my colleagues here, that we are doing everything we can to,
I'm sure.
Talk, to really, I think, evangelize the benefits of ICF, the gold standards, and what does a credential coach bring in, what's the kind of rigor that they go through, and all that. And I think the good news is even individual clients are getting quite discerning. So we do hope that we can do more on this, and we certainly need the support of members to do this as well, to do this evangelizing in whatever format you can. So thank you, Sunanda.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. There are a couple of questions. I'll just read them out from here. Haitham, there's one from Lata. I lost it in the train. I hope I can find it. There's one here from Smriti that I'm going to ask. If ICF is not investing in marketing, just wondering, how does ICF invest the fees it takes?
Well, do you want me to answer this or wait for another one?
Yeah, the next one says, Preeta Balakrishnan says, member coach registry and partners. Do we get discounts when we use the partners?
Yes, you do get discounts once you use the partners.
Yeah.
And for this first part, if I may address it, yes, ICF does collect money from members, and we have tried last year, we have started making PR and marketing campaigns in 6 different countries in the world. And one of them was India. So Priya knows VG, MG, Badri, and the rest of the chapter leaders. that we have contracted HR Qatar, which we learned from you that it's a very good platform for HR articles and a very good publication agency. And we have published 24 articles, and we intend to invest more in a social media campaign for India specific. And that is something that I need to meet with the chapter leaders in one of the forum meetings, say, we have X amount of dollars. We have $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $12,000. How would you like us to spend this money for a social media campaign across India? So we are doing regional marketing campaigns as of last year, and we will continue to do that.
Okay, the next question is from Lata Gupta. She says, when is the ICF launching team coaching accreditation?
Team coaching?
Accreditation.
Oh, I don't know when, but they are looking into it because we have released the team core competencies. And this is not the first time that we are hearing this, that what about team coaching credentialing? I don't know. It's a different family organization that looks at credentialing, which is the credentialing and standards. But Lata, the good news is I have heard talks about looking into this. How can we do this? What are the challenges? What are the obstacles that stand in our way to have, we have credentials for coaches, ACC, PCC, MCC. What do we need to do to have team coaching credentials? It's there. I heard people talking about it in the ICF, but I'm not really the person to tell you on when this is going to happen or how this is going to happen, but it's there. I've heard people talking about it.
Great. There's one question from Nidhi Shri, a little earlier on in the chat. Says, is there any way we can contribute for International Coaching Week without being ICF members right now? And for that, Nidhi, yes, you should get in touch with your chapter leaders of the region where you belong, and I'm sure they'll find a way for you to contribute to that. I can't see any other questions.
Priya, there was one more, Priya, very tactical question. Do we still get the installment option if we renew now?
Yes.
Yes. Actually, you can get the installment option from now until June 2nd or 3rd, I'm not sure, which is the cutoff date, by which after June 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, if you do not renew, then you have to join ICF as a new member. But from today until that cutoff date, you can use the installments options.
All right. There's one question from Ramya, and she says that RPC, that is reciprocal peer coaching, is a quick and easy tool to get coaching hours. Does that mean getting coaching hours is just a tick mark for getting the credential versus getting actual clients?
Well, you need to get actual clients, but you can use the peer-to-peer coaching for, let's say, I wouldn't say an easy way, but this is the fastest way because people all over the world want to get those 100 hours. So it's not that you get all your 100 hours through the peer coaching. Make use of this platform to build your skill set and then spread the word about it. I know it's difficult because I'm challenged with it. I am still stuck at 42 hours and I cannot get to the 100. But I'm using the peer-to-peer coaching so that I get a different skill set working with those. And in my circles, I am saying that I'm coaching people from Yugoslavia. I'm coaching people from Dubai. I'm working with coaches from Canada. This is how. Another thing, to get your credential, you have to pass the CKA, which is totally your individual effort, and you have to submit a recording and a transcript of a coaching session of almost 30 minutes. So there's more to the 100 hours to get your ACC credential. It is just a platform to make it easier for you to get those 100 hours.
Yeah, I can't agree more with that. There's a question from Saurav Kumar who says, why do we have to pay for ICF membership and then again pay for chapter membership in India? Is this the practice overseas as well?
Okay. The short answer, no, it is not the practice. Chapters all over the world decide, I know, for example, ICF Jordan chapter does collect a nominal fee in exchange of the extra services that they offer to their members, something that the ICF Global does not offer, which is a community. I mean, if you have a community in India, it's different than the global community. A local community in Chennai, for example, or in Mumbai. Let's not look at COVID, please. Let's not look at the COVID times. Outside the COVID times, you could have meet together. You could, I mean, have a meal together, have tea together. And that's the community, that's the engagement. So it's not the practice overseas, but a lot of chapters that come from my region do collect local chapter fees from members. And some of them collect those, pay those fees through the global membership. And then the global sends back to those chapters those local membership fees, because there are some difficulties sometimes paying in the local currency, so they pay through dollars. So yes, it is a practice, but not all the chapters. Most of the chapters collect local membership fees for the services that they do. And what I noticed that chapters who collect local membership fees do deliver better services than chapters who do not collect local membership fees. There's an added value once you pay for something and you get something in return for it.
There's one question that's coming.
Can I just add on to that?
Yes, Vijay, go ahead.
So also, please do reach out to local chapters, because like Haitham said, there are very specific things that are, value adds and activities and everything else that is done locally at a chapter level, over and above all the ICF global benefits that Haitham ran us through. And we try to make this relevant to the community, the members, and, also based on feedback that we get. We try our best to do that. And yeah, it's just about enough to run the operations of the chapter at a local level. So happy, any of us will be happy to explain the local benefits also subsequently.
Thanks, Vijay. This last question I'm going to take for the evening is from Anuradha Sant. She says, I believe the installments are valid and available only for ICF membership renewals and not for fresh members. A lot of fresh members were asking for the same in the current scenario. Is that possible?
Actually, new members cannot have the installment options.
Okay.
The installment is only for members who are renewing. And the reason is that for a member who is joining, there is a prorated value of the $245. For example, if a member joins in January, okay, they will pay $320 for a 15 months membership fee. If they join in July, they will pay $125 for 6 or 7 months of membership. So it's not that much big amount for the members, but it is, relatively speaking, a big amount for the memberships to renew.
Right. There's Preeta had put up her hand earlier, and then she put it down. Preeta, one last question from you and we'll close.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Priya, and thanks, Haitham, for clarifying so many doubts. Because I generally get lost when I get into that site, So on talking about member coach registry and partners, when you said there are discounts, I saw Zoom there. So are there discounts for Zoom? That means when we, so suppose, yes, because I have a Zoom account, and when I do, especially very relevant for this COVID scenario, right? So what do you, so one is Zoom, and the second thing is, suppose I'm psychometric certified through MBTI, through FireOB, and you talked about Hogan assessments, but I'm not certified through Hogan. So suppose I'm certified with other, institutes, and can we bring that and say that I've used that, and would you be able to provide discount? How does it work? I mean, that's something.
Well, the discounts apply only for our partners, and I know that Hogan is one of them, and I know Zoom is another. I don't know which tools you are using, but if you want to use Hogan, through your membership ID, you could get a discount using the Hogan assessment tools. And this is for everyone. There is an email that let me just share my screen with you, if I may. this
Sure.
email came actually on April, not this one, sorry. This email came on April 22nd, and I would like you all, can you see it, this email?
Yeah. Can you make your screen a little maybe bigger? Is that possible? Maybe open the email and it'll be visible more.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, yeah,
So
thank you.
this went to all the members on April 22nd, right? And it tells you it's a special update, discounts for ICF. So as a member, if you are opting in, you should have this email and you could visit the partners page to see which other partners we have for you. And these are all the partners that you can get discounts from. And at the very end, you could see that we have Zoom. And actually, you could get a 10% discount just being an ICF member. And probably our chapter leaders know this. Each chapter in India, if they want to get their own Zoom account, they are eligible for a discounted amount rather from the market price. So this applies to members as well. So this email, which I have shown you, has been sent to all ICF members on April 22nd. If you have not, then I would suggest that you check your spam or your junk folder and whitelist ICF domain, because sometimes most of the emails go there if they are not whitelisted.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Haitham. This has been so informative. The comments in the chat box are, I think so amazing to see. Like, everyone's been saying thank you for the informative session. We're going to be able to use the website with that much more, power now and access that much more information. Thank you for patiently answering all the questions and going beyond time, Haitham. And on behalf of all the 6 chapters, I want to thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for participating in this evening session. Any of the other chapter presidents would like to add, please feel free. With that, Viji, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I think Badri wanted to say.
Yeah.
Badri?
Yeah, Priya. Actually, yes. What I want to add here is, I think though I have been participating in ICF chapters webinar since last 5 years, I think so many comments and the things in the chat I have never seen in the past, I think 6 years. So I think this is the most interactive session today we have. And yeah, it was a great session, very informative. And I also learned a couple of things which I was not knowing. So I think we need to go to website too often, and then Priya, you will be sharing this recording with us. So yes. I will be sharing it with all the chapter members. So this was a fabulous session. Yeah, thank you so much. And another thing I was not aware, about when Viji introduced Haitham. So we met 2 years ago and we danced together. I was not aware of so many things. We are meeting with Haitham every month. So thank you so much, Viji, for sharing Haitham's bio also. So I think this was an informative session in terms of great knowledge about ICF and new things about Haitham also. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Badri, for that. With that, Haitham, thank you so much once again, and have a great evening. And thank you for jumping in and finding solutions to make it finally for this, despite the technical issues you had. This has been amazing. And we will be sharing the recording with everyone. Chapter leaders can be sharing it back with their members and affiliates, and all the best. Stay safe.
Yeah, if I may just add on one thing, yes. Heartfelt thanks to our members, our 2B members, our stakeholders, anybody who was interested to show up today. And believe me, I think it is the membership which is what makes ICF what it is. So, please help us, please help the chapters, the leaders to really, do better. And, with your suggestions, with your active participation, with your volunteerism. And, this is not possible. And let's kind of really put India out there in the coaching map, both in ICF Global and in general in the world. I believe Indian coaches are amazing. And let's just show up leveraging on the power of ICF.
Priya, may I have?
Yes, you may. Yes.
It's, I have been working with the chapters in India for almost a year now, plus, but very closely for the past, I think, 5 or 6 months. And since this is a recorded session, I would like really to extend deep appreciation, gratitude, and thanks not only for the superb leadership of each chapter, but the members. You're doing so much great work. You are doing so many activities. You're submitting articles. You're doing gazettes, journals, agendas. Please don't let this enthusiasm fade away. We are so grateful to you. You have fabulous leaders, fabulous ex-leaders, current leaders, and future leaders, because the leaders are coming from the membership. And once the membership is that much professional and mature, rest assured that me and the ICF will do whatever we can to, as Vijay said, put India on the global map of coaching. We just need to work side by side, hand by hand, and we'll get there. So huge thanks to the members, credential holders, volunteers, leaders, committee members, name it. Everyone who is in the coaching ecosystem, accredited schools, accredited program by ICF, everyone. If we don't do this together, no one will do it for us. And I am privileged, honored, and really delighted to be with you this evening. And I do look forward to many, many more successful webinars, ventures, events, and projects that would make you be proud ICF members wherever you are in the 6 cities where we have 6 chapters in India. Thank you so much, Priya. BG, MG, Badri, Shanti, and Jesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. With
Thank
that,
you so
I'll say good night. Have a great evening, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy.
Bye-bye.
Everyone, thank you.
Bye, everyone.